Do you believe that the only way to overcome fear is by facing it head-on? If so, it's time to question everything you've been told. The widely accepted idea that we must conquer fear through sheer willpower isn't just incomplete. It might be the very reason you've been feeling stuck for years. Today, I'm going to share with you Carl Jung's revolutionary perspective on fear, one that could completely transform how you experience life. According to Jung, one of history's most profound psychological thinkers, fear isn't something to defeat or vanquish. It's something far more valuable, a messenger carrying the key to your deepest freedom. What if I told you that within your fear lies the hidden pathway to becoming who you truly are? It's not about bravery. It's not about strength. What you need is something far more powerful: awareness. So if you think you already know how to handle fear, pause for a moment. Because in the next few minutes, you'll discover why almost everything you thought you knew about fear is incomplete, or even completely wrong. And more importantly, how a simple shift in perception could change your life forever. Let's start with something radical. Fear isn't just an emotion. It's a message, a signal that there's something essential within you that you've been avoiding. Every time you run from fear or pretend it's not there, you're actually rejecting a part of yourself. Jung didn't see fear as an enemy. He saw it as a messenger from your unconscious mind, carrying truths that might be difficult to face, but impossible to ignore forever. How many times have you heard phrases like, "face your fears," or "just push through it"? Society conditions us to believe that fear is simply an obstacle to overcome, that courage alone will make it disappear. But ask yourself honestly, how well has that worked? How many times has the same fear returned, perhaps even stronger than before? Jung offers a completely different path, one that's more demanding, but infinitely more transformative. He believed fear isn't a wall to break through. It's a signpost. It points towards the parts of your psyche that are desperately asking to be seen, parts you've buried, rejected, or hidden away. Here's where the real paradox lies. Fear often protects us from confronting the very aspects of ourselves that we need to integrate to grow. It acts like a guardian standing at the gates of our inner shadow, the side where we hide everything we've labeled as unacceptable, weak, embarrassing, or unworthy. Yet only by turning towards that shadow can we become whole. If what I've shared so far resonates with you, this is just the beginning of the wisdom you can access to transform your life. At Motivation Dose, we're committed to bringing you daily insights that go beyond surface-level advice. If you're serious about improving your life before the end of this year, now is the perfect moment to hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. Our community is growing because we deliver content that creates real change, not just temporary motivation. Like this video if it's already shifting your perspective, and share it with someone who might be struggling with fear right now. Now, let's continue exploring Jung's revolutionary ideas. Jung divided the human mind into three key components: the conscious, the personal unconscious, and the collective unconscious. Fear, he explained, seeps into all these layers, appearing in forms ranging from obvious to deeply hidden. On the conscious level, fear seems straightforward. Fear of public speaking, physical harm, or losing someone we love. But Jung believed these conscious fears are merely the tip of the iceberg, visible symptoms of far deeper issues. For instance, your fear of public speaking might not be about speaking itself. It could be rooted in an early experience of humiliation or rejection, now dormant in your personal unconscious, the reservoir of all you've repressed or forgotten. Within this personal unconscious lies what Jung called the shadow. This is where all the qualities you deny, reject, or fail to integrate into your conscious identity are stored. And it's here that fear often finds its most powerful source. Consider someone who constantly tries to appear strong and confident. Such a person may harbor an overwhelming fear of vulnerability. But this fear isn't merely about vulnerability itself. It points towards a disowned part of the self, a fragment buried within the shadow they cannot face or accept. And the more we deny these darker aspects of ourselves, the more intensely fear tends to grow. It becomes louder and more persistent, almost as if trying to warn us that we're becoming disconnected from essential parts of who we really are. Beyond the personal unconscious, Jung proposed the collective unconscious, a deeper universal layer of the psyche containing archetypes, symbolic patterns of behavior and experience shared across all cultures and history. Many of these archetypes are closely linked to fear. The hero archetype, for example, represents courage and triumph, but the hero's journey always involves encounters with the unknown and with terror. The hero must face monsters, descend into the underworld, and confront inner demons before emerging transformed. These monsters aren't literal. They're symbolic representations of the universal fears all humans must grapple with at some point. Another central archetype is the shadow itself, representing not just repressed material within an individual, but also what is collectively denied by societies. The fear of the shadow is universal because it embodies both our hidden potential and our deepest inner conflicts. To face the shadow is to confront what makes us most uncomfortable, what we're most unwilling to admit. And yet Jung believed this confrontation was essential for individuation, the process of integrating every part of our psyche to become truly whole and authentic. I want to pause here because what I'm about to share next could completely transform how you handle fear in your everyday life. If you're finding value in these insights, don't keep them to yourself. Share this video with someone who needs to hear this message today. And if you're committed to your personal growth journey, subscribing to Motivation Dose is your next step. We post powerful content daily, designed to help you unlock your fullest potential. Unlike other channels, we dive deep into wisdom that creates lasting change. Hit subscribe now if you're serious about making this year your breakthrough year. Our growing community is waiting to welcome you. Now, let's continue with how to actually apply Jung's wisdom to your life. Jung believed that our resistance to personal growth often hides in plain sight, disguised as denial, procrastination, or a compulsive search for quick fixes. These behaviors aren't random. They're manifestations of the shadow, reflecting a profound inner reluctance to leave behind the familiar, even if that familiarity brings dissatisfaction. Take the fear of changing careers. So many people remain stuck in jobs that drain them, bringing no joy or purpose. On the surface, it might look like laziness or indecision. But Jung would argue this fear represents an inner doorway, an opportunity to explore what truly matters. This resistance isn't a dead end, but the beginning of something potentially life-changing. When we begin to explore fear through the lens of the unconscious and the archetypal, we see that fear isn't merely a weakness. It becomes a sacred portal leading towards profound inner change. So how do we begin working with fear in our everyday lives? It starts with awareness, learning to identify fear and bringing theory into practice. First, ask your fear questions. When you feel afraid, instead of reacting automatically, pause and ask, what is this fear trying to tell me? This simple question can open the door to deep insight. Next, observe repeating patterns. What situations consistently trigger fear in you? These patterns usually point towards areas of life you're avoiding. Third, write about your fears. Putting them into words can powerfully access parts of your unconscious mind. Finally, reflect on your shadow. Ask yourself, What aspects of myself do I reject or avoid? Fear is often connected to these exiled parts of the self. Jung saw the process of integration involving 3 fundamental steps. 1. Recognition, acknowledging fear as a legitimate part of human experience. 2. Exploration, investigating fear's roots, both personal and archetypal. 3. Transformation, using fear as a catalyst for growth. A powerful metaphor for this process is the hero's journey. At its heart lies the confrontation with fear, the symbolic dragon. In facing the dragon, the hero doesn't just overcome a threat, they uncover new dimensions of selfhood. Remember, fear is universal, but how you choose to face it defines your life's journey. Jung left us a map, but no 2 paths are alike. You will never truly transcend fear unless you first understand that it isn't your enemy. It's the messenger, the guardian of the cave where your greatest treasure lies. So the next time fear rises within you, don't turn away. Greet it with curiosity and courage. Ask what it's trying to show you. And in doing so, you won't just transform your fear, you'll transform yourself. Fear doesn't show up arbitrarily. It appears when you're at a crossroads, when you're ready, though not always willing, to step beyond the known into new territory. Each time you feel afraid, it's an invitation to ask, what am I avoiding? What is this fear trying to teach me? The path towards becoming who you truly are requires integrating all aspects of your psyche, especially those parts you usually reject or fear. Fear in this context becomes a compass pointing towards the very parts of yourself waiting to be explored, accepted, and embraced. Freedom in this psychological and spiritual context doesn't mean the absence of fear. It means the conscious choice to move forward, even with fear present, having the courage to step into the unknown while acknowledging that fear walks beside you, not as your captor, but as your companion. Thank you for watching. If you found value in this video, make sure to subscribe to Motivation Dose for daily wisdom that will transform your life. Like, comment, and share this video with someone who needs to hear this message today. Until next time, stay curious, stay courageous, and remember, your fear isn't your enemy. It's your guide towards becoming who you truly are.